Happy early Halloween. I'm really excited to show you guys some special items that we've made for a Halloween themed limited release. And everything that we're about to look at is going to be going live at 5 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, which is a different day. Surprise drop for you, MJ Waters. And what's up, Chris Lee? Hopefully you're all hearing me and seeing me, because I'm very beautiful today and I have a great voice. So let me know if you can hear me here. I'm really excited to show you these pieces. Every year we try to do something just a little bit different for Halloween. And it's always really fun because we have a very creative team. Oh, thank you for the confirmation that everything's looking good and sounding good. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, William, MJ, Jeff D. All right. Yeah. So we have a really creative team here at Ashland, really talented people with great ideas. And for the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, we've tried to do fun things for Halloween. And these are things that, it's not for everybody, right? Because not everybody wants like a pumpkin Halloween wallet, but it is just still a fun way to experience the different leathers and colors and maybe some different effects on the styles that we offer. But it's kind of similar to what we normally do for limited releases. These just happen to be themed more for Halloween type of things, like putting costumes on all the different styles. So let me swing over to show you what will be coming up tomorrow. And again, everything that we're about to look at will be up on the limited release page of ashlandleather.com tomorrow, Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. All right, so let's take a look. All right. We post, if you're not a member of the Ashland Leather Patina Masters group on Facebook, I saw there was a group of people talking about this makeup here. People are really excited about this one. We're calling this the Riddler. So we have, Topher made this great concept with the question marks on some green shell Cordovan, which is this fat Herbie on the left, as well as some green horsebutt. And it's kind of like a pale green. So this is the horsebutt leather from Horween on a lighter and a key fob. These are being sold as a set. And I think they look really cool. There's another item in the drop that does not have the question marks on it with the same green. And you'll be able to see this range of color a little bit more clearly there. But they're really cool with these question marks. I'm surprised at how well it turned out. And I think there's already people fighting over there on the Patina Masters group. I encourage you to check out the Ashland Leather Patina Masters group over on Facebook. It's a pretty great group of people there. And you can see how the different leathers wear in from the folks over there. I want to see the chat. 1 second. But yeah, you just go on Facebook and type in Ashland Leather Patina and you'll find us hanging out over there. All right, so here's the Riddler wallet, green shell Cordovan. And then again, this one's sold as a set with the lighter and the keychain that you can see peeking out there. And then we also have, and this was something that nobody's seen yet. This is a tall Herbie in the pit tanned horsebutt in a green color, also calling it the Riddler wallet. This time we've got some contrasting purple color stitching that continues the Riddler theme to some extent. This one is also sold as a set, but all three are matching on this one. There is that first one we looked at that has the Cordovan. Leatherface, man, I've been watching that monster show on Netflix with Ed Gein. It's pretty disturbing. I don't know if I want to do any leather masks yet. That'd be a little much. As a non-Facebook user, any thoughts on using Discord? You know what, MJ Waters? I had thoughts yesterday. I was driving around thinking about a Discord group. Maybe we should do a Discord. That would be kind of fun. Your puppy got a hold of your wallet. Oh no, you're not the first person to tell us that. We've had many people over the years that have had their wallet chewed up by their best friend. I'm sorry to hear that. I guess it tasted pretty good. So there's the second Riddler wallet. We have a third Riddler wallet. This one is our Bugs Moran, also with that contrasting purple, which I think plays well with the green. You can see some of the brown undertones of this epic pit tanned horsebutt. This is leather that's tanned alongside the shell Cordovan. And this is the photo I was thinking of. So this is the unaffected pit tanned horse, but it's got this really cool, old bronze aged copper Statue of Liberty kind of color, which is called verdigris. But then it's a tonal range between that pale green and some of the browns below. And then as that's affected over the top of the epic texture of the horse butt, I think it looks really cool on both these card pockets, but especially this bit of figuring on the left there. I think that's really special. So we have the Bugs Marin as well. It's got the question marks on the outside, but just the smooth leather on the inside. It's pretty fun for Halloween. And we got some more Halloween stuff. Just look at the inside there. You can see as I've been trying to take more photos at different angles, having the light hit it in different ways, because you can see the luster a little bit better here. And then this flat angle, you can see the texture a little bit better. So without a video, it doesn't really do it all justice. I'm noticing all these look better in person somehow, which I think is just a self-criticism on my photography ability. But maybe I should bring back some more of the videos. Here's some more fun stuff. In the years past, we've done this wallet in different colors, and we call this the Frankenstein. And it's a fun play on words because we have the Frank the Enforcer style. And we thought we'd take the word Frank, put the Halloween theme on it, so we got the Frankenstein. This one is in magenta shell cordovan. So that color, this is about the darkest it appears. It's magenta sitting on top of green. So magenta is like a little bit more pink than the ultraviolet or the violet shell. Definitely more of those vibrant tones that you can kind of see better here on top of the green. And then we've done the fun Frankenstein stitches over the front, which Lupe in her shop has done. And she's really creative. I love this concept. She's been doing this for a few years now. And we have 3 Frankensteins. So the first one is the magenta on green. We also have this epic reverse black on top of garnet. So a little bit more spooky, kind of the color of blood. And then I really like this, this epic reverse black paired with the red works very well. So garnet cordovan is the red shade here. That's the most red color that Horwood makes. I'm glad you like that green color, Jeff. Me too. Turns out really cool. I'm trying to do more green. I've noticed people have been asking for green. And I hear you. So in fact, anybody in the chat, if there's like colors or things that you want to see, definitely ping them in the chat here, because I just want to make stuff that you like. So if there's other styles or colors or leathers, drop them here. And so here's the reverse of what we just looked at. So this is epic black on garnet. Then we have garnet on the epic black, which I think turned out very nicely as well. All Frankensteined out. It's pretty awesome. And then we have some fun spiderweb stuff. I think we did this once in the past in the black Dublin leather from Horween, but now we have it in shell. And I believe there are 3 of these Capone money clips with the spiderweb embroidery. You want to see more psychedelic orange? I'm working on that, MJ. We're working on some psychedelic orange on the horse butt. And that should be coming out in the coming months. Good one. Because the psychedelic is pretty sweet. It's a little labor intensive to make the colors, but they turn out great. So here's the spiderweb embroidery. I really like this. I know it's like overtly costumey, but it certainly works for the season. But really cool embroidery pattern that we've placed on here. So that's the garnet cordovan on top of black. And these are really nice pieces of cordovan. I like this angle to show some of the luster. And you can see as I spin it, it's harder to tell like how shiny it is. But the leather coming out of the tannery right now is really, really nice. So this is embroidered on the front and on the back. You want to see a psychedelic Frankenstein? That's a good idea. On the inside of this one, we've got the red foil stamp, which I think is extra spooky, on black shell as well. And then we have the black money clip in the center. And then that's the same one. And then we have one that is black shell cordovan on orange. So technically, I think this is actually Amordo shell cordovan underneath the black there. But I'm just going to call it orange. It's pretty orange, especially when you have this orange stitching to go alongside it. But black and orange definitely on theme for Halloween, right? And then with the spiderweb, it's extra cool. And we have that same embroidery on the front and the back. I really like how that turned out. I think that's super cool. And then black shell on the inside. And you can see this might actually be dip dyed amaretto shell because it's the same piece of leather through the center of the wallet on the outside here as well as in the inside. You can see the reverse side of that amaretto is a little bit more of a vibrant orange, which indicates to me that was probably one of the dip dyed variants on the amaretto. And in the past, and you'll see some of this in a minute here, when they were first testing out some of the dip dyed colors at Horween, and they don't do these very often, there had been some amaretto that came out really dark and red. So we were calling that blood orange. This is not the blood orange. So if you've been following the channel here for a while, you might recall blood orange. This is not it. It's just like a clear dip dyed amaretto, which turned out great. Love the Spiderweb. And then this is sort of the reverse of that, where we have reverse Cordovan. You can see the difference here in that close-up. You can see some of the grain on the reverse side of the shell here, but certainly that orange shade, which is what we're going for. And then the contrasting black embroidery on the black shell with the black money clip, the black edges. Definitely another good Halloween one. So 3 capones there with the Spiderweb. Pretty fun. And then it's just a fun, maybe this is why we've done it, is because Horween kind of sounds like Halloween. So we tried to do, I don't know, you can't really combine the words. They're kind of pre-combined, Horween, Halloween. But there's a couple pieces in here where we've tried to keep the Horween Shell Cordovan ink stamp intact. And if you're not familiar with this, each piece of Shell Cordovan gets stamped on the back side, the reverse side of the Cordovan, with this oval shaped ink stamp, which is the thing they've been doing for 100 plus years. So when we see them, we like to cut them into visible spots. In the inside center, I was referencing blood orange Cordovan. This is actually the blood orange in the center. I do notice that on all the blood orange that we've had over the years is a little bit more mottled. So you can see some of the spots on the center there. That's something that seems to have happened in the dip dyeing process. But we like it for the reverse side of that blood orange because it's a really nice vibrant orange shade to contrast with the black. So black shell on the outside, blood orange, reverse, dip dyed. It's a lot of words, but black and orange with the Horween ink stamps. That's a really beautiful combo. Same with the shell continuing on the inside. And we did the same thing on a Herbie here with the black shell and the blood orange, and then the reverse. And I believe this one also has hidden slots. It does. So we've got black Cordovan hidden card slots on the inside of this guy. And here's a psychedelic. Oh, Martin, I'm glad you like the black and orange. I think it's pretty awesome, especially for October. And by the way, I can't believe it's October. It's already more than halfway done. All right, psychedelic. And this is a tough one. We named psychedelic. I kind of regret naming it psychedelic because now psychedelic is a bunch of stuff. So psychedelic can be green and purple like this. We've seen somebody reference the orange psychedelic. Psychedelic is more of like a dye application style now, but there's different colors with it. Anyways, I'm calling this one psychedelic, but it's green and purple. It's awesome on the outside and on the inside. I really like the 3-tone that's going on here with the purple, the green. It kind of fades to a little bit of like a aqua blue and then down to the natural color, which is more of a tan. Super cool. Kind of Joker themed, right? Yeah, remember last year's event feels like yesterday. You're telling me, man. Time is flying. We also have matching violet stained edges for this one. I love that, Herbie. It's really cool. And one more thing about the reverse Cordovan, especially when you get a lighter shade like we see on this Herbie, it's not like very, very light, but anything that's not black, these will darken up. So I would expect this color to turn more golden brown. It will retain some of the vibrance in there, but it will everything slowly wants to go brown. That's what I've noticed with most veg tan and any leather that's tanned with a lot of wax and oil. It slowly wants to darken and kind of golden brown is the direction the color wants to move. Hidden slots on this one. Now this next piece here, I'm so excited about this, and it sucks because I hope the photos do it justice, and I'll try to linger on it for a second. This is probably if not the nicest, one of the nicest pieces of leather that I've seen. This is our tall Herbie, which is our fat Herbie variant with a bill slot that extends all the way to the top. On the normal Herbie, we cut it down roughly here, and then it has a thumb notch dip in the center. People were asking us for this years ago. And we started doing it. But that's the only difference here between the fat Herbie and the tall Herbie. This is pit tanned horse butt with the epic texture in a black color. So it has a really nice, mild and subtle color gradient from that darker shade down to more of like a slate gray, and a gradient of color between those two. This one also has that beautiful natural figuring that we see in a lot of horse butt. But there's something about this specific piece of leather that it's the right temper. It's got a really nice round hand feel to it. It's not greasy, but it's soft enough to move easily with your hand. It has like a really silky, almost waxy surface feel. And then on top of that, glassy luster, like shell Cordovan like shine. In fact, there was a customer that received one of the horse butt wallets from us a week ago that messaged me saying how they thought it was shell. And that's not super surprising because this pit tanned horse butt is tanned alongside the shell Cordovan in the pits and is finished in a similar way to the Cordovan. It is not the dense Cordovan membrane that is what's required to have shell Cordovan, but is very similar in the character. You can kind of see some of the luster I'm talking about here. Really cool. Really, really cool. This is the best black leather I've seen. I'm going to just say it. I love this one. Super, super cool. And there you go. You can see a little bit more of the figuring here. And then this is, you may have come across, perhaps not. You have to be a total nerd to have heard this word. But there's a leather term called T-core that some people have been using. It's become pretty trendy of a term in the last few years. But T-core means that the color of the leather on the surface is different than the cross section of the leather. So what you're seeing here is the back side of the horsebutt strip, which is a natural color. On the outside of the wallet, it is black, but on the inside, it's a nice light tan. So anytime you're putting a different color on top of something else, that's called T-core. I don't think you're going to get much of the color rubbing off on this one, but people in the footwear world like a T-core leather because when you scuff this up, it reveals some of the lighter tones from underneath. And then as you polish it, it gives it a really beautiful worn patina look. Epic Pit Tan Horsebutt Field Notes, super shiny over the years. Yeah, that's the other thing about all the veg tan leathers, especially the Cordovan and the Pit Tan Horsebutts. They really want to age. It gives you an amazing patina. Here's another tall version of one of our wallets. This is the tall Tony the Ant, and a second variation on it, which is a vertical 8 slots. So it's a tall vertical 8 slot Tony, which is a tremendous amount of words to describe a billfold wallet that has 8 card slots on the inside, 6 of which are vertical. There's 1, 2, 3 card slots there with a hidden card slot underneath. And we do that on both sides. I also love this leather. We had a passport holder. It might have even been Martin's in the chat, or Martini in the chat. May have had the passport holder out of this same russet brown horsebutt. It's so awesome. And I don't think my photos do it enough justice, but this grain character, it's almost like one of those, what were those books where you'd cross your eye and like a thing would pop out of the page at you, like a 3D art? It's like a mesmerizing texture. It's really, really cool. And I like I'm not sure who cut this. It might have been Matt. I cut it in a really thoughtful way where it's sort of like book matched for the texture on this one. It's really cool. So it's the vertical 8 slot, tall Tony the Ant. Is the tall vertical, or Jeff D says, is tall vertical Tony taller than regular Tony? The tall vertical 8 slot is taller. So the 8 slot is this one in the picture here is almost the same size as a fat Herbie. Magic eye, thank you, Billy. It's like a magic eye. The normal vertical Tony and the regular Tony are shorter than the one on the screen right now. Hopefully that helps. But this one is taller. So if you're familiar with the size of a Herbie, you know, it's like the size of my face, my huge face. That one on the screen right now is about the size of a Herbie, surprisingly. Oh, I got you made to order one. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Does Horween make any T-Core specific leathers? They don't. They do make leathers that are considered T-Core, Habibi, but they don't necessarily market it that way because it's kind of a marketing spin word at this point. But for example, Horween's black Chrome XL leather, which I have many pairs of footwear in, that's technically a T-Core leather. And I bought it for that reason. I wanted to fade off the black and reveal some of the lighter tones as it's scuffed up. But almost every piece of Chrome XL that Horween makes, except for natural, is most likely a T-Core leather. And they have plenty of T-Core leathers. They don't really say it's T-Core because it's somewhat of a nonsense term. It's just something that people have been asking, curious about recently. I think it got popular in the boot community, and then that word T-Core is just popping up everywhere. Let me talk about this wallet too. This is a hand-stitched vertical Bugs Moran in reverse green Cordovan, although in honesty, I think this is actually the reverse side of Black Shell that just had this really nice pale green. The black dyes that Horween uses are tinted with a little bit of green. And many people don't know this, but every black dye that exists is tinted with some color or another. The ones that Horween uses for the Cordovan are tinted with a little bit of green. I know that the black that they use for different leathers have different tints, like red. There's like a red tinted black that I think they use for the Chrome XL. But in the case of the Cordovan, it's tinted with green. So they swab on this black stain on the shells, and they actually dip it in a barrel of water to let the color sort of migrate and even out on the shell. But what's left in that barrel of water is this greenish black dye. So it starts to pick up on the backside of the leather, staining it green. And that's why it's appearing green here. But I just thought this color being it's almost like a verdigris again, that like aged bronze or aged copper Statue of Liberty kind of look. It's really, really cool. And then hand stitching sort of sets it off. Kind of off topic from MJ. I love the Fat Herbie, but prefer the way cards fit in the slots of your passport holder. Have you considered a production run of passport holders with card slots on both sides? We have done that. I'm confused though because the Herbie card slots are the same. Maybe you have a different passport holder, but we have our Traveler passport holder, which is like the Herbie. And we've done some with extra card slots. Yeah, we could do that. A good question. Jake Dog, the Horween blood core looks nice. I would love to see a blue core. That'd be cool. All right, more Halloween here. This is black on garnet. Excuse me, I think this is blood orange again. This reddish color underneath. And we'll be able to tell by looking at the inside. Yeah. So the reverse side of the blood orange here. This is the dip dyed Amordo, which is very vibrant orange on the reverse side. Black on blood orange. Oh, here's a fun one. More orange and black combos. So this is actually English Tan Dublin from Horween for the card slots. The leather that is on the outside of this wallet is the shell in Aspen leather that I filmed a video for and I haven't released yet. I got to edit it. But we received some of this new Aspen leather from Horween, which is beautiful. It's this nice pebbled leather. It's got a really silky, smooth feel. It's very resilient. In fact, I've switched my wallet recently to try it out. I've been wearing a Acorn Aspen Johnny the Fox just to check it out. But these were horse hides, and they were horse hides where they left the dense shell layer of the Cordovan inside the hide. So we had a little bit of it and we cut them into these pieces, and you can see it in the center here. That's actually the shell membrane, those lighter gray colors. That's the shell in here. So we're calling it the shell in Aspen. It also just has a different tumble pattern when the shell is inside of the skin like that. I really like the texture of that. It's awesome. It's definitely tumbled. So the Aspen leather is wet tumbled by the tannery. So as the leather's still wet, they tumble it even more, and it gives it this. Tumbling the leather causes the leather to pucker up. especially when it's wet. And then as it dries, it wants to keep that shape. So by tumbling it wet, letting it dry after it's been tumbled, you retain a little bit of this puckered up feel. The other thing I've noticed about the Aspen, which is why I'm trying this wallet right now, is it's significantly more stretchy than the Cypress and the Dublin leather that we've been using. So I wanted to see how stretchy it really is. And it's honestly, so far, it's great. I put all my like Herbie worth of content inside of this guy. There's a ton of stuff in here, and it seems pretty great so far. So I'm feeling good about the Aspen. So this is the black that we're looking at with the shell in, and you can see the shell right there, which is pretty cool. We also have one, I don't think this has the shell in it, but this is our Quick Bugs Moran in black. And the Quick Bugs has this quick access card slot on the outside. And you can see there's no shell on the inside center here. This is just what the normal non-Cordovan area looks like. Chris says the custom Aspen shell wallet made into Patina project app. Thought was awesome. Oh, who did you put that in there, Chris? I know we made a couple. I didn't know somebody was putting it in the Patina project app. That's awesome. I should open that app up. Here's more of that Quick Bugs. Here's another shell in piece, and that's the shell right there. This is English Tan Dublin, and the shell in Aspen on the back of it. Looks the same texture as the calf we had two drops of. Maybe like tumbled shell? Yeah. The way that Skip was getting kind of crazy with the Cordovan for a minute, where he still does it, but he calls it steam tumbled Cordovan. So he'll take some normal shells and put them in a hot drum and steam tumble them. It does sort of pucker up like this. That's a good eye, Martini. On the Aspen, it's a different effect. I think it's a little tighter, and the control of that pebble pattern is a little bit more consistent on the shell. The shell does not want to crease or fold. So by him forcing it with the steam, you can tell that it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to crease. So the tumbled Cordovan is very random. It's hard to work with. But on the Aspen, it's a little bit more consistent, like you can see here. It's beautiful too. Is this a different one? Here's another. This does not have the shell. So this is another Tony the Ant. We got some epic texture, but this is horsehide Aspen as well with the acorn color. That's this. The acorn Aspen on top of black Aspen. Doing the Halloween pumpkin theme here. The jack-o'-lantern. I kind of love the cross-section of it too, where you see that sandwich look. It ripples. That's right. That's right, Martini. Tony the Ant. I feel like I'm talking way too much. We have 3 more folders of pictures to look at. Here is an incredible grain character on some horse butt. And this is a Johnny the Fox. It's pretty tricky for us to get thin pieces of leather that are appropriate for this design. If we use the regular horse butt, this wallet just gets crazy thick and impossible to use. So we select thinner pieces of the horse butt for these card pockets. So it's kind of amazing to have this consistent texture on the inside and outside. They keep it with that epic grain. It's amazing. The other thing to note on this one is we have not polished this. So this will give you more room for patina. Normally they glaze the strips before we make the wallets. We took this one before they glazed it. So you will be able to impart your own patina on here. Yo, Hugh, how you doing, man? Good to see you, and thanks for being here. You came for some epic texture. And what's good, I'm wearing my Cubs hat because I'm sad about the Cubs losing the playoffs. But yeah, this grain is insane. I think we have 2 of these foxes available. I love it. I love this. It's really nice. All right, let me kick it over to some more pictures. See if I can find some more photos for you. So like I said, I have 4 folders of products. Some of them don't have as many pictures. And not all of them are like overtly Halloween either. All right, so let's keep it going. Some of them are. So here's a combo that we had done in the past that was really popular. And we had, they kind of sold out fast, so we made more back It might have been a year or two ago. But we've got a combination here with denim blue Cordovan. That's me. That's not the wallets. We got denim blue Cordovan on the outside with a reverse interior. And people had asked for more of these, so we're bringing them back. This is not very Halloweenish. The Riddler wallets are awesome. Thanks, Hugh. Appreciate you, man. You're outside of Milwaukee, so you're happy the Cubs lost. Yeah, the Brewers are looking pretty good. How are they doing against the Dodgers, though? I only saw they lost the first game. So we've got the blue with reverse interior, which is exceptional. But also, we've got, there's the blue again, green. I'd mentioned earlier in the chat that we've been trying to do some more green. The green Cordovan from Horween is awesome, and they don't make a lot of it. Reason being is that most of the Cordovan they produce at the tannery is for footwear, and I don't think a lot of people want green shoes. Some do, but not everybody wants it. So we got green with reverse as well. And I really like, it's like an emerald green that I think is beautiful. This is kind of like the wall that I'm wearing right now. This is the Acorn Aspen leather, but we have English tan Dublin on the inside. So it's pebbled up. This one's a little bit more subtle of a texture, but you can definitely tell it's horsehide by looking at the grain texture here. This is another one of those wallets. I'm not super happy with how the photography turned out, but it's really shiny. Maybe I can show you in person. I'm embarrassed to show you my wallet. I have so much stuff in here, but look at the shine of it. It's like wet looking. So the photos really don't do it justice on the wallet we were just looking at. I'm a pretty big fan of this Aspen, mainly for the shininess of the luster. It kind of looks like an Italian Vacetta leather, if you're familiar with that, which I'm only mildly familiar with. But it's got a really tough and resilient top. It's a little stretchy, which is why I'm wear testing it here, but I think it's very appropriate for a wallet. We did a few bags out of it that I love the look of. Aspen leather from Horween is going to be a new hit. Here's a Bugs Moran, also in the Aspen. Steven says you feel a muddy green would work better for footwear. I saw somebody post a picture of their Maduro shell boots from Grantstone somewhere today, and it's like a greenish brown. I think you're right, Steven. I think it's better for, if it's like a brownish green, that's a great color for footwear. But like an emerald green, like my journal here, it would be maybe a little too far for a lot of people. So here's another Aspen wallet. We've got the Acorn on the black, and we've got the black foil for the logo stamp there. This one also has some interesting figuring in the grain that was cut in a thoughtful way down the center. That might be the horse mane. I'm pretty sure it is. And we've got the horse mane on the inside as well, cutting across the center. Let's look at some more. That's all of that folder. All right. Let's find some more pictures. Two more folders of pictures to look at. All right. Ooh. Last limited release, we did a glasses case in color 8 Chrome Excel. And I think we had a couple dozen people asking us for color 8 Chrome Excel glasses cases. So we just decided to make some here. So we've got black Chrome Excel on the new glasses case design. We use a single layer of 6-ounce Chrome Excel for these, but we have the backside finished in very nicely. So it's almost like you're getting 2 pieces of leather in one because it's finished on both sides, but without the risk of those 2 layers delaminating because there's not 2 layers. We only have this thick single layer piece, which works very well for these glasses cases. So we got black Chrome Excel. We have one in English tan. This is the first appearance of black and English tan, which is also the thicker English tan Dublin. That one's, I think that's my color pick, to be honest. And there's the Chrome Excel. And we also have color 8 Chrome Excel, which is the one we did maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay, so Steelther. We did some Cordovan glasses cases. Man, I don't want to make them because this pattern piece is so big that I just don't think the price is worth it. It's going to have to be like a $400 glasses case, and I don't understand why we would do that to you. Just because you have to use a large piece of shell, and the shell itself costs about that much. So it's like, in the shell, this one kind of doesn't make sense. So I'm personally shying away from it. We've done them, and people have been doing some custom orders from us on the Cordovan cases. I don't know if I want to stock them. I think the Dublin and the Chrome XL here do the work just as well. I know it's not Cordovan though. Maybe it's ridiculous and nobody has said it out loud to my face yet. About what, Chris? Oh, you have some green boots from Carmina? Okay. I have a feeling they're cool, man, especially if it's Carmina. In fact, I'm going to put this one on Nick Horween. We have an episode of the Full Grain podcast with Carmina from Carmina. And she was amazing as a guest on the show. That was filmed like 2 months ago now, and I'm waiting for Nick to review it. But we have an episode with Carmina from Carmina coming out soon on the Full Grain podcast. All right, here's another Herbie. We've got hand glazed reverse shell, and you might be able to see in this picture what the hand glaze is doing for you. We have a special finish that we do in house to finish in the reverse sides of the shell that gives it a nice glossy and smooth look and feel. And you might not be able to see it so well in the photo here, but it's glossy. It's glazed in. It also deepens the color quite a bit. And on the outside, I think this is ultraviolet shell with the reverse interior. We're also doing a bunch of Herbies here that come with a matching keychain. So we've got the reverse and the ultraviolet there. There's what it looks like together. And then we have this one, which is this violet? I think this is violet shell, which is more of a straight up purple on the hand glaze piece as well with the keychain. So when I say violet on hand glaze reverse, that's what you see there. And then what that gives you is a full shell interior here. We have a couple different funky makeups with flipping the pieces around. You can see what the hand glazing is doing on this piece. See how shiny the shell is in the center? That's like a mirror shine. But the hand glaze reverse stuff is not as mirror of a shine, but you can see how smooth it is. It does have a luster to it, where the normal reverse shell is like very matte finished. Awesome, MJ. Thanks for the comment on doing the sets. Oh, and so Jake Dog, you got a cool lighter? Heck yeah. That was the goal for those lighters, just to get people funky, cool shell in their hands. Now here's my favorite shell color. This is the Amordo in the center with reverse. We got the Horween USA ink stamp. What this is saying right here is the name of the tannery. It's 1.7 feet squared, and it was measured on April 5th, and it doesn't have the year, so that could have been this year or who knows what year. There's the Horween ink stamp underneath the Amordo. Matching key fob. Keychain. We don't really sell these keychain. I really like that design a lot, to be honest. This is something I made myself one of these like 15 years ago, and we never sold it and started selling them a few years ago, and then people never really bought them. But I still think this is the coolest keychain that we do. We also have their different key fobs that are stitched. Here's another one with the reverse. This is hand glaze reverse again. I think there's one in here that is not hand glazed, so I'll be able to show you the difference. We got the Amordo on the outside. I'm sorry, I know you said this already, but what time do these drop tomorrow? 5 p.m. Central Time is correct, just the Mo. So everything we're looking at right now will be going up in about 24 hours. So right now it's 4:39 Central Time. We'll be putting these up tomorrow. I will be putting them up tomorrow at 5 o'clock Central, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, 4 Mountain, and I don't know other parts of the world. I apologize. There's the Amordo. I really like this. I've noticed from people that the reverse stuff is pretty polarizing. I'm going to sell you on it. If you want a clean looking interior of the wallet, you're going to want reverse on the inside. And if you love patina, you're going to want reverse. But it does have a variation on the color, which some people super, super love and some people super, super hate. I personally think it's awesome. Every piece is unique. You're never going to find two of those alike. And there's the Amordo on the outside. Here's one in blue on reverse. Now this reverse piece you can see is not hand glazed, so it doesn't have that same luster and sheen as the other stuff we were looking at. See, that's a little bit more open. It's almost like a velvety sort of suede look. And same on the inside here. This is more of like the epic splatter reverse. I really like this one also. I love that. And we got a matching keychain. Blue and green is where it's at, right? Your Natty Shell Key Buddy in the same. Dude, I've been wearing a Key Buddy too. Here's my Key Buddy. We call them the keychain belt clips, but you must be old school because we call them the Key Buddy back when we launched them. You've probably been in this chat for many years. What's up, Marco? Everybody say hi to Marco in the chat. He's an employee at Horween Leather. He does all the splitting at the tannery. Psychedelic strip for glasses case would be fire. Agreed. That's a good one. Although, like, on that glasses case, we can't have the leather be too firm, so I'd have to make sure the temper was right. Because if the leather's too firm, it's hard to get it to snap closed. So here's one with the denim blue shell on the outside on top of a reverse, and because we flip this middle piece around, how do I make the mouse go? There, this middle piece. Because we flip that around, we get a full consistent blue shell on the interior. Marco, you're famous now. You're welcome. Also, thanks for all the hard work you do at the tannery. You received a lucky card holder in your mystery box. It's not something I would have picked yourself, but it's been your everyday carry since you got it. Heck yeah, MJ, that's great. That's what I'm talking about. This is why we put those in there, because we figure we'll broaden your horizons. I'm really glad you like it. And you know, that's the other thing. If you get a couple pieces that are not your style, you can give them to somebody else to try, and just get them to try different nice leathers, because not a lot of people have experienced these types of leathers. And then we got the matching keychain for that. Ah, the green. This one's a beauty. So green shell Cordovan on reverse. And I bet you can guess what the inside's going to look like. It's got the green shell again. So we call this the double reverse. So double reverse is where you can see shell and reverse on the outside and shell and reverse on the inside. This one's got all the stamps. We get the ink stamp, the Horween USA stamp, 1.2 square feet. It's really small. If people aren't familiar with that, the shell Cordovan is small pieces of leather. It's 1.2 square feet, and it's like an odd oval shape. So the stuff is hard to work with and expensive, and they're small pieces. I get people asking me for bags in Cordovan. It's like, I just can't. The leather's not that big. So there's the green on reverse. Beautiful piece of green. Probably looks like your shoes, Chris. With that cool splatter. This one is also hand glazed on the inside. You can see the difference, hopefully. And matching key fob. And another one? Or is it the same? Yeah, another one. So here's another green on reverse. You'll see the reverse color is a little different. Am I wrong? Maybe it's the same one. No, same one. This is Epic Reverse Cigar Shell with cigar on the inside. So the reverse side of the cigars have more of these brown stains as opposed to the Color 8 reverse or the black reverse, which are like red or green. This one is also hand glazed. I took a lot of pictures of these. Oh, this is the opposite. So here's cigar on the outside with a reverse interior, which I recommend again. I find the reverse shell wears a little bit better for the insides of wallets. As it rubs together, the shell will scratch itself when it's in your pocket doing this all day. The reverse also, if there's dust in there, it will scratch it as well. But I find the reverse shells are much more easily polished up than the shells. So we got cigar on the outside, which is that like more of a straight up brown. If you were to compare this with Color 8, the cigar is a true brown where the Color 8 has more burgundy to it. And matching key fob. And then we have one more folder. We're almost there, guys. Everything is going live tomorrow at 5 o'clock Central Time. Limited release page. Thank you for asking. All right. Oh, did anybody get one of these in a mystery box? So we haven't done these in a while. These are the playing card cases, and this is in a leather called Vintage Dover. I like the playing card cases. They come with a little pack of cards too. And then it's got a magnetic closure. It's like quote unquote snaps closed, but it's really just held in there by magnets. Then we have a garnet shell Johnny the Fox here, and this one has a reverse interior. And I'll say it again, the garnet shell is the most red color that Horwood makes. This used to be called color 2. It was called ruby by some people, but now they call it garnet. And you can see at this angle, it's a little bit more brown, so it's a pretty dynamic color. I think I took a picture where I spun it around. Gosh, maybe I didn't. Yeah, so see at this angle, it's more like a cherry red. See how the bill slot's facing up? And if you spin it around and face it the other way, it looks more brown. It's a really interesting thing that happens in all the Cordovan colors, but especially the lighter, brighter shades. They really want to pop at certain angles and then sort of fade in vibrance at other angles. Green is underappreciated leather color. Agreed. Cigar with reverse right up your alley. Heck yeah, man. You don't know much about Dover. How would you describe it? It's soft. So the Dover leather is, I believe it's a waterproof. Here it is. Sorry, I just totally bailed on the camera, right? So here's okay. Here's the vintage Dover. It's not, let me put this mic down. Okay. I'll talk into the mic down here. It's not like super soft, but it is round. It's got a veg bite to it. I believe this Dover leather is waterproofed, although on the design like this, it's completely irrelevant. I think it's waterproof. I might be mistaken. But it has like a waxy feel. It's sort of got the same surface feel as the Dublin leather, if you're familiar with that, like a harder wax surface. And then it's got a nice depth of color, so and a burst, like all those waxy finish. Maybe you can't see it. But when you flex this one, you should be able to see the color change a little bit lighter for the undertones. But it's got sort of like they call it vintage Dover because it looks like it's super old. So it's got a really intense grain character with a waxy feel. It, like the suede side of it feels a little bit more suede-y to me, although we've finished in the back sides. So it's kind of irrelevant there. But vintage Dover is just sort of... it's like a less dense, less oily, waxy finished leather. How do you describe the leather? Green shell might be the best green leather. Heck yeah, Chris. You're not biased, right? All right, here's the red garnet shell, Johnny the Fox, reverse interior, and then green again. Is that green? No, this is not green. I'm so sorry. I got green on the brain. This is cigar, not green at all. Although I have noticed the cigar shells have like a little bit of a green cast to them. Although it's straight up brown. I think they put a little bit of green in the dye blend to kill some of the reds that are often apparent in every oily leather. I notice when leathers are oiled, they want to go red. So sometimes to kill some of that red, they'll add a drop of green into the dye mix that makes it more brown. But this is cigar shell Cordovan with brown cypress on the interior. I like this option. It's thinner. It's less expensive. It wears in great. If you want to get shell in your hands and you're more of a traditional billfold type of user, this is what I recommend. In fact, I don't even recommend our full shell wallets, although people seem to buy those more than the less expensive ones because they want all shell. I actually like our full grain options better. We have a 2-layer Apple Watch band here in black Cordovan. So you've got a layer of shell on the top and the bottom, so it'll be shell touching your wrist as well as shell touching or showing the world. So here's the underside of it. Here's the top side of it. We have an Amordo shell Capone money clip. The best cigar shells always have the hazel eyes look. I don't know what that is, Steven. And Regel Bridge is claiming it now. Dibs on the purple green psychedelic Herbie. Nice, man. Well, I'll give you the tips on how to get these before everybody else. Step 1 is being here for the live stream, so you're the first to know. All right, Amaretto shell and my Capone, my favorite color. Love this one. I believe this is also cigar, trying to keep with the Halloween theme. This is cigar natural on a vertical bugs. So there's alternating card slots here. Cigar on the outside. Really cool piece. Here's a 50/50 bugs. Ooh, my computer's yelling at me. It's like our Bugs Moran, but we have the traditional card slots on the right. There's 2 of them. And then the vertical slots on the left. There's 2 of them and a hidden slot on the left as well. Here's a really beautiful piece of garnet shell as well on our Bugs Moran wallet. Again, like I wish the photos did this justice, but that's a really deep, it's got a really deep burgundy, not burgundy, but like ruby garnet color. It's a really cool piece of Cordovan. And then another cigar piece. Excuse me, this is not cigar. This is Armagnac. So see how it's like a little lighter, a little bit more caramely of a brown. Let's contrast with it with the true cigar here. Cigar is dark, like dark brown here, and then the Armagnac is, I think of it more of like a really dark whiskey Cordovan color. So it's got some of those golden yellow undertones, but it's not as light as whiskey shell. I really like the Armagnac as well. We've got the matching edges too. Armagnac shell Fat Herbie. And then a green one. Green Herbie on reverse. And this is not the hand glazed, I can tell. With a full green interior. Who called it at the beginning? Somebody was talking about green, wanting more green stuff. It kind of accidentally nailed it for the drop. So green shell on reverse. With a full green interior. Cigar on reverse. With a full cigar interior. And blue, this is the denim blue with a reverse interior, and this is hand glazed. You can see some of the shine there, how it's like a little bit more brilliant. We've got ultraviolet on reverse with a hand glazed interior. Super cool. I don't know if you can tell, but that maybe it's because I took the picture, but you can see how it's shiny. The hand glazed stuff gives it more of a shine. It's smoother appearance. Here's a Amordo on reverse, but this Amordo piece is like the light Amordo. It's not like natural. It's not like the normal Amordo. It's just like a little bit lighter. I'm still calling it Amordo. My favorite color, favorite Cordovan color. We have some passport holders here. This is natural Essex, although in honesty, I don't know if this was mislabeled. But I think this is actually English tan Essex. It's like a little bit more golden than the normal natural Essex, but it's very nice. And this is a version of our passport holder that I was thinking would be interesting to try for a right-handed person. So I noticed putting the passport in on the left side is a lot easier because you're normally holding this with your left hand and then sliding your passport in with your right hand. The problem with it, you'll see in a second, this will fit in like that. I don't recommend doing it like that. I actually recommend flipping it upside down. So it fits. So it's fine. It's kind of tricky to get it out of there. I think the best move, and I think I took a picture of it, the best move is to do this, is to flip the whole thing over and put the front cover underneath that side, but it doesn't show that it's a passport as easily. Anyways, the thought was to do it from a right-hander, but that's the natural Essex. No stamps on any of these passport holders as well. Here's one in English tan, and I think this is like the pit tanned English tan Dublin. It's like a little bit more dense than the regular stuff we use. Now this one actually, you could stretch this out to fit it in there this way. I don't recommend doing that. I'd rather have you do it this way if you choose to pick this one up. And then we have one in football leather. And then this is a B grade hand stitch Frank the Enforcer 5-slot, a lot of words. The stitching's kind of messed up on this one. We were trying something different and it didn't work, but it's completely functional. It's just not the most beautiful stitching. And that's everything. We did it. We made it through all the Halloween limited releases. Stephen Koppelman, have I ever tried any indigo dyed leathers? I haven't, but we've tried dip dyeing some stuff ourselves with no success, to be honest. Yeah, haven't done any good indigo dip dyed stuff or dyed stuff. I've seen people, I think Oak Street Bootmaker did some indigo dip dyed boots that look pretty cool, but we have not had success here. That's not to say we won't do it, but all right. So we looked at gosh, I think it was like 75 different things, 60 or 70 things. If you guys have any questions about any of it, let's have a chat. I'll hang out for another 10 to 15 minutes. But man, Halloween, I'm glad that it's sort of a tradition for us now to have some fun and put some costumes on these designs. I know, again, like, it seems, actually, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like a lot of people are interested in that Riddler one, which is great. But I know it's not for everybody. It's just a fun thing that we try to mix in, and I really like it. There's the Riddlers again. Did Skip wind up liking the pit tan calf shoulder? Will that be made again in the future? Yes, Chris. He really liked it. He's been wearing some wallets in that pit tan calf for me, and he likes it so much that he ordered some more calf skin. I am expecting to do more of that with Skip in the future. Good question, Chris. Yep. That pit tan calf, some of the nicest leather that I've seen too. I feel like I say that about a lot of the Horween stuff. I guess that's the thing. That's the reason I started doing this, is because there's so many different leathers that are nice that I just wanted to experience them. So I feel like a wallet's a good way to do that. A belt is a good way to do something like the Align Latigo that we make. I would say for anybody that cares to hear me, like, none of these leathers are better or worse. They're just different characteristics and they have different functions. So we choose the wallets that work well for the items. So, like, you don't really see any Align Latigo wallets from us, although they kind of work. But that leather is tailor-made for heavy belts or harnesses. Align works great for that function, so that's why we chose to fit the product with the leather. So in the case of a wallet, it's not as good as Chrome Excel or horse butt strips, right? It's like none of them are better or worse, and they just have different effects. Mark Sabo, when will the mini Fox wallets be available? I was just talking to Matt about that, and I see Matt down the hallway here. We are going to be working on some more mini Foxes. To be honest, we are having a little bit of trouble making enough stuff, which is a good problem to have for us, but not for you, and I'm sorry. We are trying to make more and more stuff, especially as we get more attention for the things we do. We require more people to make stuff, and we've been adding staff and making more things, and we've got the holidays coming up here, so it's going to be, it already has been crunch time for the last several weeks for us to make stuff. And Mini Fox is on the list. And we did that drop. We knew people wanted the Mini Fox, so we made a ton of them, like, was that 2 weeks ago? But thank you for asking for it, Mark Sabo. That's keeping us on track. But I was having a chat with the Mini Foxes on our schedule this morning. Chris Lee, is the Mirage the same as Crunch? What happened to the trash compactor at Horween? I believe it is similar to Crunch, Chris, and you are probably the only person in the world that knows that level of information. Or maybe if people are listening to the podcast, they probably know it too. The trash compactor was actually a baler. So if you've ever, I remember working at a grocery store 20 something years ago. We would break down all the boxes and put it in this box baler that would sort of smush everything down, and then you band them together. That's the type of object that they were using at the tannery to make this leather. So they're really using more like a baler that sort of smushed everything together. It wasn't like, I think when I said trash compactor, I was more meaning like a baler. But that's gone. They don't have that anymore. So I don't know if they could make it again if they wanted. But Crunch and Mirage, I think, were tanned in similar ways, but I don't remember the difference, to be honest with you, Chris. That's a really deep question, dude. MJ Waters, is the Psycho Joker one. The Psycho Joker one's very cool. Oh, let's pull it up on screen so everybody can see what you're talking about. See if I can find it first. Yeah, the psychedelic. It's like green and purple. I'm looking at the Spiderwebs right now. Where is this? Oh, here, I found it. All right. You said it's very cool. I think you have some folks happily duke it out for a chance. Okay, we should have like a fight to the death Thunderdome for a psychedelic wallet. Seems appropriate. But yeah, it's cool. There's not a lot that look like this. I really like the green and purple together. I think it's super amazing. Steven, is there another kind of leather that will give me reverse shell vibes? Yes. All of my favorite products from you have reverse shell, but I'd rather not pay the shell premium if I don't have to. I would say consider the horse butt stuff. It's not the least expensive. It is less expensive than Cordovan. I was referencing this wallet here. I just so happen to have it in person. If you're looking for reverse shell, this is pretty much the same as reverse shell. This is the epic texture on the horse butt. It's like I said, it's tanned alongside the Cordovan. If you were to flip the Cordovan upside down and not do anything to the grain side, this is what it would actually look like. The tanner actually does something called a bump split to thin down the Cordovan. So they remove some of the grain on the shells to get it a consistent thickness. But horse butt strips and the pit tan horse butt, which is this, is the same as the reverse shell. I would recommend that to you. That's probably the best option. I would say that the next closest thing would be something like the Essex, which I just so happen to have a piece of Essex here. The Essex is different. It's not pit tanned like the reverse shell nor the horse butt stuff. But this would be the next best. It's different though, man. I think you're going to want the horse butt if you really want the reverse Cordovan. William, what's up, William? More brown Alani belts at 38 would be a good way to go. We are working on restocking that as well, William. I have a wall of belts next to me, and I don't see any brown. There's probably some brown. You might want to, William, if you want to email me, it's phil@ashlandleather.com. Just tell me you want a 38 brown Alani, and I'll look and see if we have something for you. We might. I'm actually wearing, dude, maybe I'll just give you my belt. I'm wearing a brown Alani right now, but mine is a 34. I'll send you this belt if you can fit a 34. But the brown Alani is amazing. Recommended. In fact, the brown and black Alani I love. No back key wraps this year. No, we didn't have time to do it gently. I shouldn't tell you this because Matt will be pissed at me. We are so far behind schedule. But I have capabilities to make more of those back key cases. If you're cool with the wait, we'll do it for you, but it's going to be at least 8 weeks right now, which is frustrating. But we can do that for you, man. You can email me or my team. So it's phil@ashlandleather.com or info@ashlandleather.com. We can talk about it. What's the difference between CXL Chrome XL and Woolly Chrome XL, thinking in the context of boots? Amazing question. I think that was Hugh, right? There's two big differences between Chrome XL Classic and Woolly Chrome XL. The first big difference is the greases, waxes, and oils. That blend is different for each of those products. On the Woolly Chrome XL, there's a lot more of this Day Gras, which I believe is wool grease, and it has a pungent smell. It's also a little bit harder of a wax. It's a little bit firmer, so it gives it more, I guess I'm thinking in the context of a belt. I think Woolly Chrome XL makes some of the best belts. It's a little bit more dense. I think you're going to get a less fine break on a Woolly Chrome XL boot than a Chrome XL Classic boot. The other big thing on Chrome XL versus Woolly, the Woolly Chrome XL is full grain. So it's got more grain character than the Chrome XL Classic. And so it's the grain and the smell. I think it's going to smell really animal-y, if that's a word, on the Woolly, because there's more of that wool grease. I recommend trying the Woolly Chrome XL because it's special and you don't see it everywhere. So if you have the choice of both those on a rack, I would pick the Woolly, 9 times out of 10, but mainly because I already have regular Chrome XL stuff. It's just, to me, it's more special because it's just not as seen. It's just not as available. I don't know if that helps or hurts. They're both really nice. I think the Woolly is special. Just the Mao. Yeah, definitely trying to get the Psycho Purple. Here it is again. Still got it on the screen. That thing's cool. Billy, I noticed it's very slim pickings for the 8-slot vertical bugs. Is that because they're not too popular, selling too well? You know what? I guess it is a little bit of a chicken and an egg thing. We have a lot of styles at this point and a lot of variations. We do try to make the ones that people ask us for. So you doing this right now is helpful because now I know that people want 8-slot vertical bugs, and I hear you. But yeah, it's hard to know if they're not popular because people don't buy them or if we just don't make them, right? It's a little taller than the normal bug, so I think my suspicion is that a majority of people today want thin and small front pocket wallets. There's guys like me that don't. I want like a Herbie, like the one on the screen. I want like a flat wallet that's going to hold all my stuff. So I think the standard 6-slot vertical bugs is what more people are leaning towards currently. And the 8-slot is just that much taller. So I think people want it as punchy and tight as possible. Again, we can make those, and we will. There's a vertical 8-slot tall Tony in this drop. That's probably too much. But I don't know. I don't know if it's not popular or not. We just don't make enough of them. The office has taught you, Chris, that the balers are dangerous. I'm glad Marco is safe from the baler. That's funny you say that because the baler was in Marco's splitting department. NBA starts next week. Can we get some basketball leather gear? No. I am working on some basketball stuff for a special order that may or may not be going to the NBA. I can't say. But I can't do any more in the next week. If we do anything in basketball, it wouldn't be till December at this point, sadly. Although I can get that leather, and we've done it in the past. Rigel, I'm going as Frankenstein's monster this year. You need the psychedelic wallet. Nice, man. Shackleton leather. Habibi, Shackleton, I have to admit, is a leather that came into existence after my departure from Horween. But if I recall correctly, the Shackleton is a waterproof Chrome Excel-ish. I don't think it is Chrome Excel, but it's a similar version. I might be misremembering, but if I'm thinking correctly, Shackleton is like a waterproof Chrome Excel variant, although it's not Chrome Excel. It's supposed to resemble it to some extent. I hope I'm not lying to you, but I think that's my current understanding, but I don't know. Stealthier, is there a non-Cordovan leather that coordinates well with ultraviolet? I'd like to have the inside of my next Herbie have a leather inner knot scratch. And you want ultraviolet on the outside. Gosh. Oh, you know what? We have some gray. I do have I shouldn't commit this because I don't know if I will have more of it. But we have this really interesting, nubuck Chrome Excel in a gunmetal. I think it's actually called 9 iron. It's like a gray brown that could pair well with a purple. I was actually thinking in my mind that a gray with a purple might be cool. I think I might have some old gray vintage Dover as well. So that's another one you can email me. I can take a look and see if we have some cool grays to pair with that, to pair with the ultraviolet, if you like that idea. Other than that, I'd have to think on that. I don't know what would pair great with the ultraviolet, to be honest. Maybe like a yellow, but I don't really have any yellow. You need some basketball coasters. Oh, me too. We should do that. Hugh, my pleasure. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much with the Woolly, but I recommend checking it out. It's awesome. It's more dense than Chrome Excel, more grainy, stinkier, but in a cool way. Is that EV variant that Nick's has sample of named after Ukrainian tanner? Man, Chris, you know more than me at this point. You should just do the show for me. Yeah, if you want to hit me up, Stealthier, it's Phil, Phil, at ashlandleather.com. All right, one more question. I got to bail. MJ says, can you make heavy-duty bands for non-Apple watches? I bought a shell band, 20 millimeter for a watch, and I have on order, and it was a lot thinner than I was hoping. Yes, and we can do that. we can do 20 millimeter 2-layer straps for sure. If you haven't worn your thinner strap, just send it back to us. If we can refund you if it's new. I'll tell you, I'm wearing a shell single layer strap now. I wore the heavy duty Illini one, which is like triple the thickness of this. I wore that for a while and loved it, and then came back to this single layer shell one. It's also nice. We can do the 2-layer. It's more expensive. It's going to take some more time. You can send it back for a refund, man, but I'm actually pretty happy with my single layer too. So unless, I would say, if your watch is like big and chunky, you might want that double layer, but for a thinner watch, the single layer might work nicely aesthetically. But we can do a 2-layer for you. Call it a heavy duty. No problem. Messenger bag. No messenger bag this time. I am working on that. You know what? I shouldn't show you this either, but I'm going to. We are still working on, it's too busy right now to do more prototypes. But I am working on, we had that like iPad case before that didn't have a strap or a handle, but we're kind of working on some ideas. And this one's, I figured I could show it because it's like kind of Halloween-y. But this is the Acorn Aspen again. And I'm working on attaching some D-rings to the side so you can put a shoulder strap on it. But we're also still working on the 16-inch MacBook or laptop briefcase. We'll be doing more of those in the future. Probably not until January, maybe. It's hard to know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you're still here and you didn't catch the headline, all the stuff that is in the video, you can rewind. It will be available on our website, ashlandleather.com. Check the limited release tab at 5 p.m. Central Time. Thanks again, guys, for the great questions. Chris, you always blow my mind with the deep knowledge. Like, no joke, I think you know more than me at this point, which is awesome. So I appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for being here. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you later, guys.